Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. Okay, guys, we are in Easy Read, Gospel of John, chapter 18. Let's see here. It's Friday, end of the week, holiday weekend. Pray you guys have a good weekend. Get some rest. Enjoy some family time, some rest time. Go worship. Go to church Sunday. Worship the Lord with all your might and power. Do it. And enjoy some relaxed time. But here it is, chapter 18, Easy Read. It's titled, Jesus is Arrested. He just got through praying at the Garden of Gethsemane. And I left a lot of stuff out there. This Easy Read didn't cover a lot of it, but anyway, let's get into it. It says, when Jesus finished praying, he left with his followers and went across the Kidron Valley. He went into the garden there, and his followers still with him. Judas, the one responsible for handing Jesus over, knew where this place was. He knew because Jesus often met there with his followers, so Judas led a group of soldiers to the garden along with some guards from the leading priests and the Pharisees, and they were carrying torches, lanterns, and weapons. Jesus already knew everything that would happen to him, so he went out and asked them, "Who are you looking for?" They answered, "Jesus from Nazareth." And he said, "I am Jesus." Judas, the one responsible for handing Jesus over, was standing there with him. When Jesus said, "I am Jesus," the men moved back and fell to the ground. He asked them again, "Who are you looking for?" They said, "Jesus from Nazareth." Jesus said, "I told you that I'm Jesus. So if you're looking for me, let these other men go." This was to show the truth of what Jesus said earlier. I have not lost any one of you. I have not lost anyone you gave me. Simon Peter had a sword, which he pulled out, and he struck the servant of the high priest, cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword back in its place. I must drink from the cup the Father has given me." Then the soldiers with the commander and the Jewish guard arrested Jesus. They tied him and brought him to Annas, the father-in-law of Caiaphas. Caiaphas was the high priest that year. He was also the one who had told the other Jewish leaders that it would be better if one man died for all the people. Simon Peter and another one of Jesus' followers went with Jesus. His follower knew the high priest, so he went with Jesus into the yard of the high priest's house. Peter waited outside near the door. The follower who knew the high priest came back outside and spoke to the gatekeeper. Then he brought Peter inside, and the girl at the gate said to Peter, "Are you also one of the followers of that man?" And Peter said, "No, I'm not." It was cold, so the servants and guard had built a fire. They were standing around it, warming themselves, and Peter was standing with them. The high priest asked Jesus questions about his followers and what he taught them. Jesus answered, "I've always spoken openly to all people. I always taught in the synagogues and the temple area. All Jews came together there, and I never said anything in secret. So why do you question me? Ask the people who heard my teaching. They know what I said." When Jesus said this, one of the guards standing there hit him, and the guard said, "You should not talk to the high priest like that." And Jesus answered, "If I said something wrong, tell everyone here what was wrong. But if what I said is right, then why do you hit me?" So Annas sent Jesus to Caiaphas, the high priest, and he was still tied. Simon Peter was standing at the fire, keeping himself warm, and the other people said to Peter, "Aren't you one of the followers of that man?" And Peter denied it. He said, "No, I'm not." One of the servants of the high priest was there. He was a relative of a man whose ear Peter had cut off, and the servant said, "I think I saw you with him in that garden." Peter said again, "No, I was not with him." As soon as he said this, a rooster crowed. Then the guards took Jesus from Caiaphas' house to the Roman governor's palace. It was early morning, and the Jews there would not go into this palace. They did not want to make themselves unclean because they wanted to eat the Passover meal. So Pilate went outside to them and asked, "What do you say this man has done wrong?" They answered, "He's a bad man. That's why we brought him to you." And Pilate said, "You take him yourselves and judge him by your own law." And the Jewish leaders answered, "But you know our law does not allow us to punish anyone by killing them." This was to show the truth of what Jesus said about how he would die. Then Pilate went back inside the palace, and he called for Jesus and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus said, "Is that your question, or did the other people tell you about me?" Pilate said, "I'm not a Jew. It was your own people and their leading priests who brought you before me. What have you done wrong?" Jesus said, "My kingdom does not belong to this world. If it did, my servants would fight, so that I would not be handed over to the Jewish leaders. No, my kingdom is not an earthly one." Pilate said, "So you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You are right to say that I am a king. I was born for this, to tell people about the truth. That is why I came into the world. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to me." And Pilate said, "What is truth?" Then he went out to the Jewish leaders again and said to them, "I can find nothing against this man, but it is one of your customs for me to free one prisoner to you at the time of the Passover. Do you want me to free the king of the Jews?" They shouted back, "No, not him. Let Barabbas go free." And Barabbas was a rebel. And that is it. Chapter 18, the Gospel of John. And again, hope you guys had a good week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. God bless you. Tell somebody about Jesus Christ. Tell them all the wonderful things that Jesus can do to give you peace in this life, where you don't have worries and you don't have all this weight and this. Oh man, it was just a heavy load, a heavy burden that he lifted off of me whenever I give him my life. I mean, it was almost instantaneous within a couple of days about worrying about stuff that I used to just drive myself nuts over. It's freeing, and it's the kind of peace you've never had before. Make that choice today. Give somebody the opportunity to make that choice today. Tell them about Jesus Christ. God bless.